our research in a way and manner that we instill trust and confidence in the minds of people that are assessing the research. That is, the methods by which we use to conduct our research and the outcome of our research is something people can rely on, and they know that we have followed some standards in carrying out the research. In my own department, for example, we have standards that we follow, we have benchmarks. So if you follow those standards and benchmarks, that means you have carried out your research in a way and manner that has integrity. When we carry out our research based on academic integrity or research integrity, people from outside will have confidence in our results, and they'll be able to come to the university for our research. They can come and build whatever they want to do outside on the outcome of our research. They will have confidence in the fact that if I have a problem, I can take it to the university. The intellectuals there, the professors will work on it and give me results, so I can take it back. There was a situation that happened in my area in Ibadan. A group of people were fetching water, and overnight the water turned brown. The first thing that came to their mind was to come to me, and they brought the water. What could have happened? At the end of the day, we discovered that a petrol station was leaking. Because they know that I'm a researcher, so they brought the water sample. I took it to the lab. We carried out some analysis, and we discovered that it was hydrocarbons that were leaking into the water underground. So they had confidence in that. Later, we invited the State Environmental Protection Agency to look into it. So, of course, they had to relocate the petrol station and things like that. So it will make our community, the nation at large, to have confidence in the output of our research, because they know that if they go into the university, we provide solutions. I would say training and retraining. I think I learned that in education. I did a bit, and when we came in, we were employed, we went through PET, what we call promoting excellence in teaching. So I learned about lifelong learning. It is very important. Researchers must be trained from time to time, so that they will know that, see, whatever you are giving out, you are boosting the image of your university. If anything that is wrong comes out from the university, it will, bring down the name of the university. There was a professor who hanged himself because, his postgraduate students gave a result output that was falsified. At the end of the day, when it was, cross-checked, the professor just hung himself. So I feel that the way we can maintain that is we train people from time to time, and also we should also verify our results. I learned in quality control, there's a term we use, we call it CARE. C-A-R-E. Your results must be correct, it must be accurate, it must be reproducible, and then it must be effective in solving problems. So if you have a research that others cannot reproduce, for example, if I claim this in Nigeria, others in South Africa, in United Kingdom, in America should be able to carry out the same research and have the same results. So our results must be, subjected to scrutiny. People must be able to vet it and also come out with the same results. So I think that will help us in maintaining that in the universities. Yes. Okay. The one that is out now that I got the patent for last year is an assessment of the nutritional quality of lactic acid fermented bacteria in the production of TIGET-NUT milk. It was self-sponsored though. I didn't get funding from anywhere. I only collaborated with my postgraduate students. At that time, I worked with my master's students. So the two of us got the patent. Actually, it is the provision of nutritionally adequate and balanced weaning food for infants. The provision of weaning food is a major challenge in Africa. Apart from the fact that it is expensive, there are some of them that children will have allergic reactions. I remember my last child, when she was of that age. The weaning age is between 18 months and above, when the breast milk is no longer sufficient to cater for the nutritional need of a growing infant. So at that time, I bought a particular canned food, and I gave it to her, and she developed skin rashes all over her body. I was wondering, there was no just cause. Of course, even though that's my field, I wrote the company. They said, okay, maybe it was the way it was stored, but that gave me concern. So apart from the fact that it is somehow expensive, some children develop allergic reactions. So that is one major thing that spurred my interest into the provision of weaning food for infants. Yeah, the research can be applied in the food industry, and also the Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations has the provision of food, zero hunger, reduction of infant mortality rates, and then good and well-being of every individual as the first 3 goals. So my research is targeted towards that, because if there is no good food, there is no way you can have good health. It is usually said that you are what you eat. So it is targeted towards that. And then food security, food availability, and food sustainability in Africa is a major problem. If you are not careful in the next few years, the nation and even Africa may run into droughts because of what we are seeing around. So, but if we have things like this, that we can prepare on our own, and then from time to time the industries will be sustained. Well, like I mentioned earlier, it can be used as weaning food for infants, and adults too can also use it. We have some people that have lactose intolerance, so I'm beginning to work with some medical people now. We want to work on it to check and then also if people that have diabetes can also take it. People that have diabetes are people that have high blood sugar. So the milk contains natural sugar, lactose. It is not, the drink or the yogurt does not contain any artificial sweetener. So for people that have lactose intolerance, that is people that react to gluten from cow milk, so they can take it. So it will solve that problem, and also adults. So food industries that are targeted towards provision of adequate and nutritionally balanced food for children and adults can go into it. So it is solving dual problem in the community. If we look at the Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations, I think every company or industry that is situated in any part of the country and the world should have a goal. Nestle, for example, they have a goal. They look into provision of food. So for policy makers, I think, okay, they should be able to look into how do we feed our populace, the younger ones and the adults. Then how do we reduce infant mortality rates? Because in our community, even some parents that use this gruel, fermented food, they don't prepare them under strict hygienic conditions. So you have children having diarrhea and things like that. So when that is targeted, when we prepare food under strict hygienic conditions, and we know that the food is balanced, then we are answering some questions. We are able to solve some problem in our environment. So policy makers should be able to look into that, and then have a way of giving back to their society based on the policies they formulate. So if you want to formulate policies, we should look into things that will affect our environment. Food is one of them, health is one of them, water is one of them, waste management is one of them. So there are so many problems in our societies that policymakers can look at in making their policies. Well, the major one is funding. Funding is a major one, and then we also have problem with equipment. For example, I still use homemade equipment. I need a stainless steel fermenter, I need an industrial mill, I need a stomacher for mixing, I need a mixer, I need a chiller, I need a big refrigerator. So these things are still done at a household level. I still use my kitchen blender, even though I bought a big one, but it is still at a very small scale. So when people make orders, at times I may not be able to meet orders if they request for it in large quantities, because I have to use 3-4 blenders at the same time, and I don't want to take it outside because I'm concerned about the hygienic condition of what I'm preparing. So that's the major thing, funding, and then of course lack of equipment. I know that if I take it up to industrial scale, I will get people that will work. So labor is not the major issue. The major issue is funding. Like I mentioned, if I'm able to get some of these things, I've applied to some organizations for support and funding. I am hopeful that I will get funding, to buy, like I mentioned, an industrial mill, a stainless steel fermenter, stomacher, chiller, fridge, and a mixer. So in the next 5 years, I want to see Stella yogurt. It is called Stella yogurt. I want to believe it will be a household name in the market, because people will see that it has, a nutritional value, because milk from plants is called first class protein. It is better than animal protein. So if that is readily available within OAU, like you walk into any office, you see Stella yogurt, you see OAU logo, you'll be confident. So I want it to be in the next 5 years, by the grace of God, to become a household name on campus and even in Nigeria. Yes, let me just mention some of them. I am a member of Nigerian Society for Microbiology. Then I'm a member of American Society for Microbiology. I'm a member of Society for Applied Microbiology, and I'm also a member of Organization of Women in Science for the Developing World, that is called OWSD, just to mention a few. I've attended trainings, workshops, and conferences that are sponsored by these organizations. I've had NSM, for example, ASM. I've benefited from their travel grants that have trained me in some of these things. And from these conferences, I've learned that we should be able to translate our research output to something that will solve the problem of our society. So these professional bodies have actually benefited me. So when I got the patents last year, I was celebrated because they have trained me. From the university, I've been part of them. I desire to be part of them. So when I graduated and I started working, I joined. And going for their trainings and workshops, there are some of their workshops that will be hands-on experience. And majorly what they talk about is how do we translate our research output to something that can benefit the society, solve societal problem, and also add value to me and give me some cash in my pocket. And so that I also can be a blessing to others. Yes. Well, the major one is there's a research I'm involved in presently that I'm supposed to get grants, but because of the lockdown, the organization just said they had some challenges, they couldn't fund the research. I felt so bad about it because I was supposed to work on grains and cereals as weaning food, and want to check the level of mycotoxin in the cereals, but so they couldn't fund it. So I didn't like it. So that's one way I was affected. Then there were some conferences, trainings I would have gone for, every year I look forward to learning new trends and current trends in my field. And some of them I travel outside, even within, to learn conferences, workshops, symposium. But because of the lockdown, I couldn't go. So that affected my research a lot this year. And even some collaborations that I'm involved in, there were some of them that, we couldn't really do much because of that. Yes, well, I attended some online webinars and trainings. In fact, there were some e-courses in my field that I also attended. I got some online certificates. So even though I was at home, of course, it consumed data. I had, Zoom meetings, webinars, trainings, and workshops. In fact, there was a particular workshop that lasted for like 2 weeks. So at the end of the day, we got a certificate. So despite that, I was still able to add value to myself. So when I write the story of 2020, I don't just write the negative aspect. I still write the positive aspect because I added value to myself at the end of the day. For those that are coming behind me, the first thing I would like to say is that hard work pays. To the younger generation, there is no shortcut to hard work. When you work hard, you will get results. And also, they should look inward. There are so many problems around us that, if you look inward, you will be able to provide solutions. For example, this TIGET-NUT you got, how I got about it? I bought it one day from Ibadan, and by the time I got home in the evening, the thing has fermented. I wanted my children to eat it, but they said, "Mommy, it was smelling." Of course, I smell it, and I discovered that, this thing has fermented. Something within me just said that this thing can be fermented. I can extract the milk, and I get yogurt. Honestly, that was as if that was how the breakthrough came, just by a mere problem around me. So I just looked inward. So to the younger researchers, I want to encourage them to always learn to look inward. Don't see problems around. We are always complaining about. No, I don't see problems around. I see solutions. I see that God has placed me in that to offer solution. And my PG student has already started something before that was giving her problem. Immediately that light came, I just told her, I said, "Lola, we are changing to TIGET-NUT milk." She said, "Mark." I said, "Don't worry." Don't worry. So it was just coming, and the inspiration was just coming. Another thing is, when you look inward, you find out that you'll be able to solve problems. For example, when I walk in Ibadan, I see a lot of wastes that are dumped along Bodija market. And one day I just told myself, I said, "Can't we use these decaying oranges and pineapple for something?" Do you know I gave that research to another master's student, and we used it to produce bioethanol and vinegar. So young researchers should look inward. They should not look at the problems around them. They should look it as, I want to provide solutions, and also work hard. And also, they should have mentors. There are people that have encouraged me. Even on this issue of patents, it was Professor Ilori that first encouraged me. He came and gave a talk. I was at Ajose. And after the talk, I went to meet him. He said, before you start publishing that work, make sure you patent. I didn't know anything about patent. And today I see him as a mentor. Even though, I don't have that personal relationship with him, but that word that he gave helped me. So he said, before you publish, you must patent. So they must also have mentors. They must have people they look up to. Some of us, young people, they don't want to look up to old people. I don't believe in that. I believe in, there are people that have gone ahead of me. I look up to them. I have another professor in my department, Professor Mafubi. She has been in this field, so she's a mentor to me. So there are people like that I look up to in my field, that they guide me. I also have Professor Kennedy Taiwo. So there are many of them around. So I look up to them. If I have any challenge, I'll meet them. I wanted to submit a proposal last week. I called her. I said, "Ma, what do I do? Do I attach this?" She said, "Yes, Stella, go ahead." So we need mentors. So for young researchers, they need mentors. They need people they can look up to, ask questions. Somebody can tell you, "Stop, don't do this, don't do that," and that will be a breakthrough. Look at this patent that I spoke about. Anytime Professor Ilori is anywhere speaking, I'm always grateful to God for his life. It was if I didn't know anything about patenting before. When it came to my faculty, I stood up. I said, "Prof, thank you so much. You were the first person that mentioned it to me." So young researchers need mentors, and that will really help us a lot. So thank you so much. you.